Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr. Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. Hi, docs. Welcome to the EntreMD podcast, where it's all about helping amazing physicians just like you embrace entrepreneurship so you can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. I'm your host, Dr. Una. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of the EntreMD podcast. And today we're going to be talking about something that is really so powerful that if you get this, it will make your journey as an entrepreneur so much easier. And it really is all about how to fall in love with your journey as an entrepreneur. And this could be whether you are a full-time employed physician and your personal brand is your business and you're working on that, or if you're at multiple 7 figures and you're like, I want to cross into 8 figures, like wherever you are, I want to talk about how you can love that. One of the things that I am fortunate enough to have learned really early on is how to enjoy the life you have now on the way to the life you're going to. And so I'm one of those people who I thoroughly enjoyed medical school. And medical school for me, was a little different because I went to medical school in Nigeria, and Nigeria uses the European system. And what that means is they will let as many people as possible get into medical school, and it is survival of the fittest. And so when I got into my med school class, we were 420. Think about it, 420 people. And they knew fully well only about 120 were going to graduate. So it's not just about doing well and having great grades. It's about being the top 150 people in the class, 120 people in the class. But I enjoyed that. Now, I enjoyed it knowing that I would never do that again, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being a resident. In fact, when I was in my intern year, I still remember a third year who walked up and was like, how come you're always smiling? How come you don't look as, frazzled as everybody else? And that's the same thing that I brought into entrepreneurship. So at this point, I've been an entrepreneur for going on 14 years. And I have enjoyed it. Now, I'm not saying there have not been any challenges. Like clearly, in med school residency, there must have been a lot of challenges. I'm not saying there are no challenges as an entrepreneur, because there are challenges. But there is a way to enjoy the journey. And I would love to share that with you. There is this thought process of this relentless, nonstop hustle that we have to do. And if we do it long enough, we'll get to, the life that we want one day. Okay. And for many people, they did that as doctors. And they waited for that one day thinking it's like once I'm done with my training, I'll be at one day, only to find out it was not one day, right? It was still, you have to do all these things. You have to deal with all these challenges, blah, 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 blah. And when you think about that and you're like, so one day is never coming, it can be very disheartening. It can be very annoying, and it can make you almost despise your journey, right? And so you may be listening and you may find that in a lot of places, you're not even willing to do the work that entrepreneurship requires. And it may just be because of this. It may just be because you're like, this never ends. One day is never coming. And your business by itself, right? Like, okay, so let's say you are a private practice doc, you started this private practice. The private practice by itself in isolation can be a pain, right? Because you're going to deal with hiring, you're going to deal with firing, you're going to deal with building company culture, you're going to deal with marketing, sales, you're going to deal with up seasons and down seasons and times when there's a great resignation and a pandemic and this and that. It's going to just keep going on and on and on. And so if everything is tied into, okay, I'm doing this business thing, I'm working hard at my business, it's a pain, okay? It's a pain, lots of challenges, lots of disappointments. But if you can connect it with your why, you'll love it, right? If you can connect it with your why. So your business, I talk about this a lot, is a means to an end. Now, in your business is a vehicle. It is a vehicle you use to serve a lot of people and you use to earn a lot, right? At least that's the way we talk about building businesses, right? So it serves a lot. It helps you serve a lot and earn a lot. And that is fantastic. I want you to think about how meaningful your work is when you think of the people you're serving, the difference you're making in their lives and all of those things. And at the same time, it's creating financial freedom for you. That's amazing. But if you take it even further, right? Why do you want the financial freedom? It's not as though we're just going to sit at home and eat dollar bills, right? Like you don't really want the money. You want what the money can create for you. And everybody's different. We're all wired differently. So your why would be completely different from my why. For instance, big shout out to Dr. Whaley Gray, who shows doctors how to live their dream lives now. And, and if really her area is travel, like through all these exotic trips and all of these things while still working full time at her job and all of that stuff. And for her, that's a why. Now, if you're thinking about the fact that you get to go on 6 trips a year, you get to do that. You get to do that with your family. Your relationship with your kids are so much deeper. Your relationship with your husband is so much better. And you went to all these places and you learned how to do it in such a way that it did not break the bank. So you learned how to travel hack. You learned how to work your points and all of that stuff. And so you did all of these things with your family. You left them memories of a lifetime. You left them a legacy. If you have that in mind, that dream life in mind, then it makes, okay, I have to up level and learn how to market, learn how to sell, get comfortable talking about money, embrace my fear of speaking on stage. And it makes all of that like doable because you're like, I'm serving people. I'm creating financial freedom that's allowing me to live my dream life. Do you see what I mean? And so if you link those two, it makes it worth it. Now, let me tell you what makes you absolutely helplessly fall in love with it. Is if you can see that dream life and come back here and start living a version of it now. Now, if you can do that, that means you've taken your dream life from sometime in the future, you've taken it from one day and you've brought it to today. If you can bring it to today, you can handle almost anything, right? Okay. So in the EntreMD Business School, I'm really big on this. I'm like, there is a seed form of your dream life that you can start living now. We don't wait. We start living it now. And as your business grows, as more opportunities show up, you're able to live that, you're able to up level that version of your dream life month after month, year after year, decade after decade, right? And so no matter what your life is like now, on one side, and no matter how big and wild your dream life is like, on the other side, there's a version of that you can bring to the present, you can bring to it right now, and you can recognize it, you can enjoy it, and you can start saying, I'm living my dream life right now. I want you to think about it. 1 million physicians, right? 60% saying, I have some symptoms of burnout, loss of autonomy, don't like medicine, won't refer it to, it won't recommend it as a career choice for their friends and family, no financial security, all of that. Imagine if you can go from all of that to living your dream life. What? right? Okay, so let's talk about how to do that. I'm going to give you 5 steps. Okay, this is one of these episodes you definitely want to share with the doctors in your life. You do want to take notes, and actually, I'm going to tell you a cute way you can deal with it. Okay, all right. So number one is to identify your dream life. Okay, and many people have not stopped long enough. Right, they're doing the work, they're doing their hard work, they're responding to challenges, they're putting out the fires, they're doing all the things that they've never actually stopped to say, okay, what is my dream life? What does that look like? I'm talking about taking the time to think about it, to document it. There's no right or wrong. We are all like artists. We are creating the future we want. It's like our lives, they're given to us as gifts. They're like blank canvases, and we get to kind of create the masterpiece that we want, right? So there's no right or wrong. There's no what will somebody say. It's none of that. It's your life. You know what I mean? Like if money was not an object, time was not an object, like what would it look like? What really talks to my soul? What really matters to me? And this is not something you can look at what somebody else said, because this is something that will resonate with you at your core. It's something you're wired for. It's just you. It's uniquely you. So identify that. Okay. So many people know what they don't want, but they really have no clue what they do want, right? So the first thing is to identify that. Don't be afraid to write it down. It's not going to be the only version you do. You're going to do version after version after version, and each time it will be clearer and clearer. But the clearer it is, the more you can pull it into your present, and the more every day you could be walking in the direction of your dream life. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, once you're done identifying your dream life, identify the version of your dream life you can build right now. Okay. Now, so your thing may be, you know what? I want to go on 6 vacations with my family every year. That's my dream life. And maybe for the last decade, you've done 0 to 1. Okay. You may not be able to do 6 this year. Maybe you could do 1. Maybe you could do 2, right? If you could do 2, is it 6? No. But if you're doing those 2, is it more than what you had before? Yes. Knowing what you now know, can you enjoy it more, even if it's 1, and make it a bigger deal? Yes. So can you start living a version of your dream life now? Yes. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you pull that and you're like, oh, it's not 6, but it's 1. We're on our way, right? You may be saying, like, I want my home to look a certain way, right? And when you think about it, maybe you think about this, really massive 7,000 square foot home, contemporary design, open design, lots of like purely contemporary. And, you may be like, my husband who wants his own house to have a gate and a driveway and all the things, not into the subdivision, into his own house. And you're like, that's the way I want it to be, and all of that stuff. And it may look out of, and I'm not saying it's out of reach, but what you want to, it's like, I can't do that. Fine. Maybe you can't do that. But with the home that you do have, is there something you can do to pull that version in? Right? Maybe it could be that you remodel your living room to look the way you want it to be, or your workspace, or whatever. Or you just decide, one of the things that those houses don't have is clutter. And I'm just going to do a decluttering project with my family. And over the course of the next 3 months, we're going to get this all decluttered. Is that your dream life? Of course not, but it is a seed version of it. It's a seed version of it. There's a certain way you want to dress. There's a certain amount of time you want to take off every year. I don't know what it is for you, right? Maybe you're this kind of person. You're really social and you love to hold brunches, brunches once a month. Okay, maybe you can't do the most elaborate ones. Maybe you even can, but you just didn't know you could. You can start. The bottom line is take something out of that big dream, bring it all the way back here, and start living it right now. So that's number 2. Identify the version of your dream life you can live starting right now. Maybe you're this person, you like absolutely love your job. What you really hate is that you have to come back and chart at home. And so maybe for your dream life, you're like, work stays at work and home time is home time. And you own your own practice. Get a scribe. And that's the end. Like boom, that part of your dream. You see what I'm saying? Like, just intentionally, you are creating a masterpiece. This is the whole point of building a business. The win for your clients is that, oh my goodness, you solve their problems, you get rid of their pain. The win for you is financial freedom that gives you your dream life, right? Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3. We talk a lot about this in the EntreMD Business School. It's called the CEO calendar. And this is kind of, how you calendar in, you schedule your life, right? Sometimes people are like, I want the spontaneity. Yeah, but the very wildly successful usually have some kind of even if they have some kind of schedule, even if it's in their mind. But hear me when I say this, okay? If you don't schedule your dream life, it may not be something you're used to doing. If you don't schedule, it's not going to get done. Right. And so, for instance, in ABS scale, one of the things we did is like, okay, I'm like, how much vacation time did you take off last year? And some people were like, well, a week, some were a couple of days, and all this stuff. And some people were like 2 weeks and all of that. I'm like, okay, whatever it is. So I was talking to them at the end of 2022, whatever that is, let's double it for 2023. And the initial look was, uh-oh, here Dr. Una goes again. This is a little cuckoo and all of those things. But they're like, okay. Because the $1 million question is, how can I, right? Now, what did I have them do? The first thing I had them do when they pulled out their calendar for 2023 is I had them schedule their vacation time, right? Because that's usually the thing that we think about last. And because we think about it last, it never gets scheduled. And we find out we've accepted things all over the place and there really is no place to fit in this vacation. Right. And so whether it's a vacation, whether it's time with your kids, or whether it's brunch with your friends, or whether it's, your decluttering project, if it gives you joy, otherwise outsource it. But, all those things, the things you're going to do to bring your dream life to your reality now, they're not second nature. If they were, you already be doing them. And so you want to schedule them. So you want to schedule your priorities. Okay. You want to schedule them. You want to schedule them because if you don't do it, if you don't schedule it, it's not going to happen. Okay. So that's the third thing, like schedule your priorities. Now, number four is to change your mindset from one day I'm going to live the dream to I'm living the dream. You're just going to live the dream bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as the years go by. But I am living, like, imagine I'm living my dream life. I'm living my dream life. You make the tweak, you look at that tweak, you're like, I'm living my dream life. Make another tweak, you look at that, I'm living my dream life. I'm living my dream life. I cannot tell you the amount of joy and happiness and enthusiasm it will bring into your life. You don't have to fix everything. Nobody comes in and fixes everything. They start fixing things, a moment at a time, one screw at a time, one nail at a time. You know what I mean? And you can start thinking that way. I am living my dream life. I'm going to live more of it tomorrow, more of it the day after, but I am living my dream life, right? Okay, number five. Number five is something that's going to give you the bandwidth to do this, right? With the life you already have. As physicians, without entrepreneurship, we're busy. With entrepreneurship, we can be busy, but there are ways around it. We talk about this like nonstop in the Entrepreneurship Business School. But number five is buy the time of others, okay? One of the things that I think we're so blessed with as physicians is we have this amazing earning power, right? And with that, I think sometimes we should look at it as a gift that we're given so we can expand our 24 hours, right? Like imagine if you had 3 people working for you full time. Just think about it. Or that means that every day you acquire 8 more hours per person. For the 3 of them, that's 24 hours. You can buy a day every day. So you have your 24 hours and you have their 24 hours. And their 24 hours are all working 24 hours. Your 24 hours includes, sleeping, taking a shower, tying shoelaces and all of that. Think about it. You can buy back time. And so if you're going to be a person who's going to live a dream life, part of it does include, becoming the CEO of your life and your personal life and your business, right? We're talking about entrepreneurship here. And so that means you have a team for your business and you have a team for your personal life, right? And so that you have the capacity to delegate, to take things off your plate so you can add new things to your plate and all of those things. The more you embrace the concept of leveraging the time of others, the more of your dream life you'll be able to live. That's literally just the way it works. Okay. So I've given you 5 things. Identify your dream life, identify the version of your dream life you're going to live starting right now. I've talked about the CEO calendar, changing your mindset, and buying the time of others. If you will do these things, you can look at your life and someone else can look at it like, oh, like it's the same as it was yesterday, but it's not the same. And you're excited. And you've started, you have all these seeds of your dream life showing up in your life right now. And you're like giddy with excitement. And your business is just this this tool that helps you create that. You know what I mean? And which will make you engage with the business more. It'll make you learn the concepts you need to learn so you become even better at it. It's amazing. It's amazing. That is why you hear me say, like, I've never worked in EntreMD. Like, I love it. I love able to serve people. I love, that it's afforded me the opportunity of being home with my kids, homeschooling my older kids, driving the younger ones to and from school, affecting thousands and thousands and thousands of lives, living a life that is so purposeful to me. And to think that I am in a position where I can change a community, or I can change the narrative for a whole community. I could disrupt an industry. I could be part of the solution, is just crazy. I have the freedom to create, which is, and I'm leaving this legacy. And my goodness, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So this is the deal. Now, I get this inspiration from some doctors who are already doing this, and I'm going to name it. Okay. So for this episode, I want you to grab a few friends and I want you to do this exercise together, because the problem with this is it's so simple. And the thing about simple things is that they're easy to do. They're easy not to do. That's kind of the way it plays out. And I don't want you to not do this because, oh my goodness, you could be saying, after you listen to this tomorrow, you could be saying, even today, I'm living my dream life. Like, I'm living my dream life. Okay. So I want you to grab a few friends and I want you to do the exercise together. And we call these EntreMD APs. So EntreMD accountability pods. And so an EntreMD AP, you guys get together, 3 to 5 of you, and you guys workshop this together, get it done, hold each other accountable. And then your new thing becomes, I'm living my dream life. So exciting. Okay. And if you do this and you're one of the EntreMD accountability pods, let me know. I want to shout you out. In fact, you can post about it on social media. Maybe you guys are on Zoom, take a screenshot, post it like, hey, we're the EntreMD accountability pod. And then just tag us, #EntreMD. I love to give you a big shout out, and, never know, there might be freebies and stuff like that. But I think it's super exciting. There's nothing as beautiful as actually doing what you set out to do. Okay. So this is the deal. You can have this meeting and you can start living your dream life today. You can give up the conversation of, we're so burned out, we don't have autonomy, the insurance companies are driving us crazy, people don't want to buy my stuff, and I'm just stuck, and somebody wrote me a 1-star review, and all of that stuff. You can come out of that energy and live in the energy of, I love being an entrepreneur. It is a vehicle for me to serve a lot of people, change lives, do meaningful work. It is a vehicle that allows me to create freedom, find freedom so I can live life on my terms. And I am living that life right now. Like, think about it. I mean, I think about how stress relieving that is. Think about, the joy of it. And so where other people are saying entrepreneurship is such a nightmare, you can say, I won't lie, it's hard work, but I'm so grateful I get to do this, right? Okay, so I cannot wait for that to be your story. So set up your accountability pod, set up your AP, go get this done, share your screenshots on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, wherever you do that, or TikTok, and tag us, #EntreMD. I cannot wait to shout you out. I'm beyond proud of you. And I will see you on the next episode of the EntreMD podcast. Hey, if you love listening to the EntreMD podcast, I want to invite you to join EntreMD On Demand. It is my signature subscription program that gives you access to a library of business courses designed to help you do one thing as a physician entrepreneur, and that is to thrive. Just head out to entremd.com/on demand, and I'd love to have you join us. See you on the inside.